Well, hi everyone, I'm Bill Sheridan with the Maryland Association of CPAs. I'm also a really big sports fan, and I usually end up getting so caught up in the games themselves that I rarely stop to consider what makes the great performers great. It's really kind of an interesting question when you stop to think about it. What traits, other than God-given ability, what traits separate the truly exceptional performers from the rest of the competition? And I don't know the answer to that, but Don Yaeger thinks he does. Don is a former Sports Illustrated reporter. He's also an author and a motivational speaker. He's written books with some of the most iconic sports figures of our time, including John Wooden, Walter Payton, and for you Baltimore Ravens fans out there, Michael Orr of the Blind Side fame. Don says that there are some traits that all truly exceptional performers have. They're risk takers. They're not afraid to make mistakes. Preparation. They prepare for all possibilities. They feed off adversity. They visualize victory before the games even begin. And I love this one. They hate to lose, even more than they love to win. Kind of an interesting list, and I guess the question is, what kind of lessons can the rest of us weekend warriors take away from all that? Well, I spoke with Don briefly after one of his presentations in Florida recently, and he had some ideas about that. Here's Don. Hold on. Don, answer your own question for me. What makes the great ones great?
I think one of the things that's interesting about that discussion of greatness with athletes and coaches and winners is that they'll tell you that it's no one thing. That anybody who points to it as exceptional at some single task, they can be good, but they really can't be great. Greatness is really a combination of skill sets, almost none of which have to do with physical talent. It's almost all about discipline and about the ability to be a little more tightly focused than most of the people we compete with.
We'll pull out a couple of examples,
Sure.
just some of the traits that
Sure.
you've come across.
I would say probably the most important one that I think of and that I talk to people about all the time is the value of association. John Wooden once told me, you're only as good as the people in your inner circle, that you'll never outperform your inner circle. And if you understand that, if you know you'll never outperform them, then that makes you constantly focus on who they are, because you know that who you put in that circle will really define what you have the ability to achieve and become.
You've got some great stories about some really terrific sports figures. Which has been the most inspirational for you?
It would be tough to beat living with Walter Payton, being around Walter for the last few weeks of his life. There was a man that was just not a football inspiration to me, but also a personal inspiration. And the opportunity to spend time with him, to learn from him in the most important period of his life was really, really valuable.
And just explain that for us again. He brought you in late in his life to write a book?
Spent the last few weeks of his life with him to write his autobiography, Never Die Easy.
Mm-hmm. What would you say is the one best piece of advice that you might be able to offer those of us who want to be great?
It's that you can't be singly focused. There has to be a true balance to your life. You really have to know how to make it all work. That it's not just about practicing. It's not just about the mental focus. It's about pulling all those pieces together so that you can be at your very best when your very best is needed.
Don, thanks so much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you.